We're right in the middle of that messy part of the build. You know, there's a million jobs going on at once. We've got half-finished panels, parts turning up every single day, and it might look messy, but this is where all the magic happens. I'm knee-deep in bodywork, Mick's keeping the mechanical side moving. We're at that stage of the build where everybody is flat out in their own corner. You know, there's lots of stuff going on, and the deadline is looming. We've got a lot of pressure on us right now because we have to unveil this car to Autobarn. There's no changing that, but this is where it's actually starting to come together.
Had to break out the big gun. The little die grinder just wasn't cutting it. So that's where we had to relieve it for the counterweight to the crank to stop. While we're here with the die grinder and making a mess, we've got these spots here that hit the conrod bolts when you're doing a stroker, and sometimes a little bit over here on the back side of the conrod. So what we'll do while we're making a mess with the die grinder is we'll grind them up. You can see I've done them too. That's what it would normally look like. So we've taken about that much out. We'll have to put some conrods in and see if it misses still. Perfect. Misses everywhere now. As you can see now, it's obviously full of a lot of metal. So what we'll do now is we'll blow it all out and we'll whack it in the spin wash before we dummy it back up again. Okay, let's get this bad boy out of the wash. Okay, so now we've got the block out the wash from washing all the metal out. What we're going to do is we're going to sit the crank back in now. We've ground the reliefs for where the counterweights were hitting. We've ground the reliefs where the conrods will hit. Now we have to put it all back in and go through each one to make sure all the conrods miss. So here's what we're checking to make sure they've got plenty of room now. Okay, so now we've done all the dummying up on the engine. We've worked out what deck height we want, so we've got it all set up on the machine ready to go, and now we're going to start machining the block. That's the RPM of the machine. We've got it set at. So that middle one is how many thou we've actually taken off the block. Okay, so we've got all the machining done to the block now. All we've got to do is we're going to run a chamfering the die grinder around these edges here, and we'll chamfer the bore to be able to get the rings in a bit easier, no sharp edges, and also the sharp edges can create detonation points for melting, and we don't want that. Okay, so we've just got the block out of the wash after the chamfering everything and that. So now we've got to give the bores a good wipe out. We'll mask it all up and we'll give it a coat of paint, make it look all nice and pretty. Another good thing is these are hand wipes from Loctite, but they come in really handy for wiping the bores. They do a good job. Give them a nice clean out. Also their gasket, their surface cleaner to use before their products is a really good option. Helps the masking tape stick to the machine surfaces once this gets all the residue off. Now it's masking up time. Now we'll knock some wash plugs in, and this block is prepped and ready for assemble.
Back here at Resto HQ, the body's almost ready to get a hit of epoxy primer. Just getting the last little bits of cleaning up done and giving it a buzz back and some wire wheeling. Then it'll get sealed up and it'll be heading for bodywork. Sam's been to Autobarn more than a few times, and Not that she needs any excuse to jump in the Mustang and go for a spin, but she's been burning the part flat out and just keeping the supplies going to keep this job moving on. Mick's here getting the diff and suspension sorted out. He's getting a bit of a jump start on it, so we're getting all the bushes pressed in and everything's ready to go, so we can get this car suspension in, get it rolling, and move on to the next stage.
All right, so we've got all our suspension parts all painted up, ready to go. We've got to fit all the bushes in them and the diff, so we've got to finish putting the diff together now. What we've done to the diff is it's a 10-bolt Salisbury diff. We've put a 355 diff ratio and a true track centre. We've done all new bearings and stuff through the axles and seals. Should be good to go, and we'll get it happening. All right, that one's all in. Do yourself a favour, if you're at home or any sort of home mechanical work and you want to press bushes in, get yourself one of them Super Pro tools. Bush kits, they're amazing, they're really good. So now we've done the bush, because the backing plate and everything has to be off on these to get the bush in. We can put this axle back in, put the backing plate on and the handbrake shoes, and we're ready to go in the car. Alright, so now the diff's all done, we're going to move on to the upper control arms for the rear. These are the upper control arms. We're just going to put these 4 new bushes in each one, and then we'll go to the lower control arms.
If it looks like chaos, that's because it absolutely is at this point. You know, we've still got a lot of parts to chase and panels to fix, and we've got to get this car painted, so better crack on.